What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Gunter and God. I'm back with another video. Now, I'm sure y'all been seeing all these clips that have been floating around of this recent debate between Candace Owens and Destiny. And in this debate, they discussed the degeneracy that's been going on in hip hop, and Candace Owens completely dismantles Destiny's argument.
Your side of the story, these people are basically like, we're hopeless. There's nothing we can do.
No, it's not hopeless, but if you want to be able to do something about something, you need to be able to acknowledge the something, right?
What you
make it's a conspiracy. It's like, no, when I graduated high school, there wasn't a single trans kid. Now you've got like more than 50% of kids that think that they're other. That is obviously propaganda. Clearly, it's just not possible that you didn't exist. Maybe there was one person, and then all of a sudden everyone is.
Sure, I think it's okay to
that can only happen. That can only happen through propaganda.
In this first clip that you're seeing, Candace Owens brings up the degeneracy that you've been seeing going on in hip hop lately, and she even brings up the crack epidemic that was clearly pushed on the black community by the government. And Destiny tries to make the argument that obviously this is what the black community wants. That's why the music is popular in the first place. And Candace Owens instantly rebuttals his argument and says, no, this isn't what the black community wants at all. That this type of music is clearly being pushed on us. She even calls out artists like Sexyy Red, saying, why do we have Sexyy Red as a face of hip hop when we have so much other talent out here? My problem with Destiny is the type of person who's book smart and who's able to look at stats. But when it comes to actual people, when it comes to actual communities, when you actually have to go out and, talk to people face to face, I feel like Destiny has a really hard time understanding who people actually are and what the community actually wants. And in this debate, it just clearly shows how clueless Destiny really is when it comes to the real world. Now, I'm not going to say Destiny is racist or anything like that. I'm just going to say that Destiny clearly doesn't have an understanding of certain communities and just has a hard time understanding people.
You're suggesting that this reflects the community, and they're sharing their stories in a way that makes sense. That's completely not true. Okay, WAP does not reflect the circumstances that black people are living in. Singing about your vagina and how hard it's getting pounded is not the circumstance of living in the hood. I come from nothing. It's not that did not make me feel closer to the circumstances that I grew up in. And unfortunately, that's actually what people are telling black Americans. Like, actually, it's working the other way. You're putting something, your eyes and your ears are the windows to the soul. And you're basically, when you celebrate someone, and I'm using Cardi B here as an example because I think people are probably more familiar with her than they are with Sexyy Red, that when you put someone like that on the Grammys stage, which is, again, a decision being made. When I was growing up, the best, most talented people were on the Grammy stage. It was something you could watch with your family. And we still had poor people. You still had poor people. You still had people that were living in the hood, okay? We didn't need somebody talking about their vagina in order to feel seen. So what you're doing is you're setting the stage for younger girls who aspire to celebrities to say, okay, well, if I mimic that behavior, I too can become famous. What you're actually doing is you're setting the idols that people are going to look up to, and people are going to think this is what I should aspire to. So it's actually working in the exact opposite way.
Can I ask a question? In that like evolution of things, so if we look at like WAP in particular, hasn't it generally been the case that music is always kind of pushing these sexual boundaries? So it might have been Elvis grabbing his crotch and dancing. It might have been Michael Jackson's dancing is incredibly suggestive, if you've seen that. It might have been in Woodstock, all the loser hippies talking about love, sex, and rock and roll and drugs. Wouldn't like WAP just be kind of like the next evolution in a long chain of...
pushing boundaries is not degeneracy.
So Candace Owens brings up the argument that since Cardi B was recently hosted at the Grammys or whatnot, and this is a clear sign that the music industry is pushing the degeneracy in music, and that the Grammys was always a place that hosted the most talented artists out there, which this is a bold-faced lie. We all know throughout the history of the Grammys was specifically used as a white safe haven to promote certain white idols within the music industry. Destiny tries to rebuttal Candace's argument by saying that the music industry has always tried to toe the line, that they've always been trying to be risky, looking at artists like Elvis Presley, I guess, whenever he had grabbed his crotch, or even artists like Michael Jackson dancing suggestively or whatnot. And Candace quickly responds and saying that this isn't just towing the line, that this is promoting clear degeneracy. Look at songs like WAP. Now, if you ever heard the song WAP, then you know how explicit and sexual these lyrics are in this song. And this goes way past towing the line, as Destiny wants to put it.
It might have been in Woodstock, all the loser hippies talking about love, sex, and rock and roll and drugs. Wouldn't like WAP just be kind of like the next evolution in a long chain of...
pushing boundaries is not degeneracy, okay? And so here's what I'll say to you. Why don't you pull up the lyrics to WAP and read them right now?
Well, I don't... Why would I need to do
Cool,
that?
it's just Woodstock. We're just pushing the boundaries a little bit. You probably have never even read the lyrics to WAP.
I think I did because I think Ben Shapiro had a huge thing about
he
it.
couldn't have said. You may have seen him reading the sanitized version of WAP, not the one that is not sanitized. Like the sanitized one, which is still bad, that she can perform at the Grammys, is what he read. You should read the lyrics to WAP before you make commentary that it's a reflection of what Black Americans are living through, or it's just somebody that's pushing a boundary. It's not that.
How do you explain the fact that like WAP was like a #1 like worldwide hit? Then?
Because what I said to you is that they are artificially creating artists at this point. There's no question. And by the way, the Diddy docs, which I found to be a very compelling point, was that Diddy said to the guy, allegedly, who was the producer, that if he was willing to engage in homosexual behavior with him, that he would get him Producer of the Year Grammy.
Now, this is just ridiculous, and Destiny tends to do this a lot, tends to bring up arguments that he has no type of information about. He wants to talk about songs like WAP as if that's towing the line, but has never actually listened to the lyrics of it or has ever took the time to actually read the lyrics to the song. And then he tries to refer listening to Ben Shapiro, I guess, read off some lyrics. Ben Shapiro read off the sanitized lyrics to the song. On his network, he couldn't even read the explicit lyrics to the song, so what does that tell you? The fact that Destiny feels like this is a reflection of the Black community, like this is what Black people actually want. I'm not trying to call him racist, but this is just honestly the ignorance that's just coming out of Destiny. And this is what a lot of left-leaning white folks like to do. It's like they won't be blatantly racist to you, but they'll make statements assuming what Black people like and assuming how Black people are. I personally got this from left-leaning people a lot, assuming that I hate Trump, assuming that I talk a certain way, that I use the N-word, assuming that I listen to rap music all the time, gangster rap specifically. They even get mad when they see me promoting, my American flag, because I am American at the end of the day. And they just assume certain things about me without actually taking the time to get to know a person. And this is exactly how Destiny's mindset is. He might be book smart, he might know a lot of stats, but when it comes to actual human connection, Destiny is completely lost.
The entire system is artificial. And by the way, this is something that Kanye said 10 years ago, or however long ago it was, when he took the trophy from Taylor Swift and said, like, this is all fake. This is not even based on merit anymore. And that is my point. The industry is not based on merit. It's not based on capitalism. It is based on selling ideas. So it is, who do we want to artificially make the person that every Black girl will look up to, or who they will aspire to? And
so I could definitely understand that, like, maybe award shows can be rigged, or people can think different things about, who's being awarded based on merits for the Grammys or something like that. But like WAP was genuinely, do you think it wasn't genuinely a popular song, or do you think that music execs have the ability to manufacture that desire publicly?
This is the main reason why I wanted to make this video, because Destiny isn't the only person who thinks like this. Like, he's a book smart, like I keep saying. Like, he is going off of capitalism. He actually believes that these companies, go off of sales, go off of, what is in popular demand. And Destiny truly believes that these big corporations are just going off of sales, just going off of what's popular, just trying to go after the dollar or whatnot. And that's clearly not the case whatsoever. And it just blows my mind how somebody can be so quote unquote educated, but clearly just like missed the mark on this one. It's like, you gotta have so much faith within the government, so much faith within these big corporations to not even think for a second that they don't have ulterior motives when it comes to molding society in a certain way. I mean, look at Disney. Disney has all the money they want in the world, and look at the moves that they're making, pushing like the LGBT agenda, even though they're losing millions and millions upon dollars. They don't care what's in popular demand. They don't care about capitalism. They don't care about how much money they're making. They only are interested in their agenda that they're trying to push and how they can mold our society in a certain way. And this always becomes an issue whenever you live life in first person as an NPC, when you don't take time to look at your surroundings, to actually pay attention to what's going on in the world. You got to live life in third person. If you're living life in first person, then you'll never be paying attention to what's going on around you. You'll only focus what's in front of you. And if you take the time to actually step out of first person and step back in the third person, then you can realize the whole picture about what's going on. And you won't call things like this conspiracies. You will just realize that this is how the world works. And this is actually what's going on in the world.
So if you start playing something tons of times on the airways and the latter, you can definitely make something popular. There are songs that I don't even like that I've heard so much that I know every single lyric to. And I'm like, I don't even know how I know every single lyric to this song, but it's received this many plays. You put it everywhere. You award the person, you invite them to bizarre circumstance. Like there's absolutely no reason that Cardi B is invited to sit down and ask questions to Joe Biden.
So
in no scenario, unless you are really making an effort to legitimize this person and to make this person aspirational. Again, this is not an insult to Cardi. I actually think that personality-wise, she's got a ton of talent and she's interesting. And I've said great things about her on Love and Hip Hop, and there are elements of her that make her a star. But what I am saying is that a lot of that is manufactured, and I just don't see how anybody, when looking.
Don't you think it's entirely possible or easily possible? So like, I feel like there's like so many things wrong with this. So one is, why wouldn't competing record labels start pushing talent that's actually popular that people want to hear? I think that would be a big question. The second thing would be, how can we explain the top-down domination of this type of media popularity through all of our reality TV shows, all of our TikTok stuff, all of our YouTube videos, and the music industry? And then how can you explain that all happening worldwide?
Sure.
Like, it feels like that to try to explain this through people that are exercising control on these platforms would require more control than anybody has ever been able to exercise on any platform ever. And they're doing it like on a multi-country, multi-stage
it's just called, it's very easy actually. It's a very basic concept pertaining to governments. They need propaganda. Hollywood is propaganda. You should, for those of you that are watching this live, go listen to the conversation that Joe Rogan had with Cat Williams, where he talked about all of this. And he said, I know you think that you're being entertained. And this is somebody that comes from inside of the industry. And he starts talking about the Diddy stuff, the idea that in order to climb higher, you kind of have to engage in nefarious behavior, and how he was collecting all of this information. He was speaking out about what was happening inside of the industry. And he said, it is twofold. You might be being entertained, but they are making decisions about what will entertain you.
See, I'm glad that Candace finally gave Destiny a one-word answer, like the word propaganda, because he has a hard time trying to understand that people can notice things throughout their lived experiences and then come up with a conclusion. But, giving Destiny a one-word answer like propaganda, something that his straightforward mind, that his mind can just hone on, will hopefully help Destiny understand how the music industry and entertainment in general is actually manufactured by these big corporations and big government that he believes so much in, can actually manipulate our society and our way of thinking. Another thing that I like that she continuously brings up are these new P. Diddy accusations that are going on right now. And this is something that Destiny can actually go read in a book, can actually see what's going on in real time, how one of the top people in the music industry are clearly manipulating people to do certain things that he wants to do so he can push his certain agenda. But that might be too complicated for Destiny. You might just need to give him a one-word answer like propaganda so he can go and look it up and read it in a dictionary.
In which he presented that as evidence of that is transgenderism. And he asked hold on.
Okay.
He asked a question which should be answered. He said to Joe Rogan, and he laughed about it. He was like, a guy wears a dress on the red carpet, okay? And then the media tells you how great he wore the dress. And he's like, he said, tell me one situation where he didn't wear the dress wonderfully, when he didn't wear the dress in a way that was amazing. It's because they have all agreed that this is the narrative. And then he talked about the fact that the record execs also own the publications that are saying that something is amazing or something is not amazing. And that is just plain old-fashioned propaganda. So you don't necessarily need to detach what we're talking about from your concept of what governments are interested in. It's always propaganda.
And this is why I say that Candace completely owned Destiny in this debate, because she continuously brings up cases that are going on in the real world that you can verify and see with your own eyes. And you can see situations like this when it comes to the LGBT movement. When it comes to them, pushing all this trans stuff on our kids and just in our society in general. Just like I brought up previously with the company Disney, they've lost millions upon millions of dollars with their LGBT agenda that they clearly been trying to push. So this isn't about capitalism. This isn't about a company, trying to make money. This is clearly about these big corporations and our government colliding together to make our society act and be a certain way. And this also brings up a point that I just can't slide by because I felt this way for a very, very long time. When she says that she knows the lyrics to music that she doesn't even listen to. And just like I told y'all previously, I haven't listened to rap since like Chief Keef, since like Riff Raff, probably since like the 2010 era. So I'm way behind when it comes to rap music. But I know the song to WAP. I know the song to what's that Sexyy. I know the song to all these degenerate ass songs, but I have never ever once in my life hit play on a Sexyy Red or a Cardi B song. So how in the hell are these lyrics stuck in my head right now? How? Y'all tell me how. If it's not through constant promotion of this BS.
So I understand Cat Williams has said this. I also understand that Cat Williams was at one point in his life addicted to crack, and I think he's famous for losing a fight to a high school kid. I think this like benched his career for a while.
I can insult him, but that doesn't.
I'm not insulting. I'm just saying that I don't know.
2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 = 4.
I'm not insulting it.
And this is where I think I'm going to end this video at, because Destiny is clearly not making a good faith argument right here. He's clearly just trying to throw shots, you know, like just trying to get up under people's skin. Because how, out of all people in the world, knowing Destiny's history, knowing all these clips that we've seen of Destiny, how is he going to come at Cat Williams? As successful as Cat Williams is compared to Destiny, Destiny can't say shit to Cat Williams. Calling him a crackhead, calling him that he is known for getting beat up by a kid. Destiny, honestly, Destiny. I'm not even trying to like throw shots or anything, bro. But look at yourself, bro. Look at how you're built, Destiny. I'm sure your 12-year-old or your 13-year-old son, however old he is probably built the same size as you. So how are you going to try to make fun of somebody getting beat up by a kid when the exact same shit will happen to you, Destiny? You have no physical way of defending yourself whatsoever. And then you want to talk about drugs. Destiny, look at yourself throughout this whole interaction. You have not been able to stand still. You're over here like trying to adjust mics, trying to do all this stuff, like fidgeting around, and Candace is just over there talking smoothly, just sitting all calm, you know, relaxed, with her thoughts in control, and you're just over there fidgeting the whole damn time. We all know that you're on fentanyl. We all know that you're on like all the drugs in the world. Destiny, you are the main crackhead on the internet. You're known for this. This is why you talk like 1,000 miles per hour. This is why you stay fidgeting. This is why whenever you have debates, you're like over here playing games, doing multiple things at a time. It's because your brain is constantly running on those fucking uppers, bro. You're on all the strongest drugs out to this day. And then you say in Miami, a hot spot for all of the designer drugs, for all the new experimental drugs that are coming out. And knowing your ass, look at you, bro. You're doing them. You're definitely on that shit. But this is where I'm going to end the video. And honestly, if I was Candace, I would have just packed my bags and just walked out, because like you can just tell that the conversation is just going to go downhill from here. Destiny is clearly too high off fentanyl right now, and he's just going to start throwing shots at people and clearly not even listening to the conversation that's being had. Just like Candace said at the end, 2 + 2 = 4. Does it not, Destiny? So, well, like, how are you going to, oh, he used to be on crack. Oh, he got known for getting beat up by a kid or whatnot. Like, how are you going to say that? How are you going to deflect all the way to that when y'all were having a civil conversation? Y'all definitely let me know how y'all feel about this conversation. If y'all see this full debate, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right?